Have you ever just stopped and thought about how connected we all are now? I mean, it's a video call with family halfway across the world, a quick text to a colleague. We're living in this world that's completely woven together by these invisible threads of information. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the powerful engine that makes all of this possible.
So that leads us to this really fascinating question. How on earth did technology manage to make our world feel so much bigger, with endless information at our fingertips, and yet at the exact same time, so much smaller, by just erasing the distances that used to keep us all apart?
All right, here's our roadmap. We're going to start with a hyper-connected world we're all living in. Then we'll rewind to the ICT revolution that kicked this whole thing off. After that, we'll look at how communication was totally transformed, face the double-edged sword of all this progress, and finally, take a little peek into the future of connection.
Okay, first up, our hyper-connected world. Let's just start right here, in the now, with the reality that you and I experience every single day. I mean, think about it. Emails, video chats, social media. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's just normal. We live and breathe in an age of instant connection, where geography is kind of just a minor detail. It's not really a barrier anymore.
So that's the what. But what about the how? How did this become our normal? For that, we need to hit rewind and find the spark that ignited this whole revolution. And it all really comes down to this one acronym, ICT. That's Information and Communication Technology. Just think of it like a giant umbrella. Underneath it, you've got everything that gives us access to information. The internet, the smartphone in your pocket, the laptop on your desk. It's basically the entire toolkit for modern life.
And this timeline just shows you how ridiculously fast that toolkit has evolved. Seriously, look at this. In the 80s, 1G gave us clunky analog voice calls. Then the 90s hit, and boom, 2G brings us digital voice and those first text messages. The 2000s gave us 3G and data on our phones, which then just exploded with 4G and high-speed internet in the 2010s. And now, we're in the 5G era, connecting everything, and we're already talking about a 6G future run by AI. What a ride.
Now, one really big deal that came from all this is that ICT basically split our communication in two. On one side, you've got synchronous communication. That's real-time stuff. Think phone calls, video meetings, live chats. Everyone's there at the same time. But on the other side, you've got asynchronous, which is time-delayed. That's your email, your shared documents. You get to it when you can, which gives us this incredible flexibility our parents never had.
So, part 3, communication transformed. Because once we had these powerful new tools, literally every part of our lives started to shift. The world of communication was just completely and forever changed.
Okay, look at this number, 28%. Doesn't sound like a lot, right? Well, a McKinsey study found that this is how much of the average work week an employee spends just managing their email. We're talking more than a full day of work every single week, just stuck in the inbox.
And that's exactly why we're seeing this huge shift to things like instant messaging. I mean, look at the difference. People respond 30% faster than email. Companies are seeing a 25% jump in productivity. It just fuels that fast-paced collaboration that today's world runs on.
Another absolute game changer has been VoIP. That's Voice over Internet Protocol. Now, this diagram might look a little technical, but the idea behind it is super simple. VoIP just takes the sound of your voice, chops it up into tiny digital packets, and sends them across the internet, just like an email. This is the magic behind stuff like Skype or Zoom, and it's why calling someone on the other side of the planet is suddenly cheap or even free.
And this transformation goes way beyond the office. Take education. ICT has completely blown the doors off the traditional classroom. Now there's access to huge online libraries, you can learn from anywhere with platforms like Coursera, and you can bring subjects to life with amazing interactive tools. It's a total shift in how and where we learn. Which brings us to our next section, the double-edged sword. Because, progress is never that simple. This incredible, super fast change came with some major consequences that nobody really saw coming.
And this quote right here, it cuts right to the heart of one of the biggest issues, privacy. The very same tech that makes it so easy for us to share everything also makes it incredibly easy for our personal information to get out there, often without us even knowing, on a massive global scale. Suddenly, protecting our digital selves is a huge deal.
And that's not the only problem. The amazing benefits of ICT, well, they aren't shared equally. This is what we call the digital divide. It's the gap between the people who have access to all this tech and the people who are left behind.
and it's a major roadblock to true global equality.
In this chart just lays it out in black and white. While about 2/3 of the whole world is online, that number just plummets to 27% in low-income countries. That's not just a gap in internet access. It's a gap in opportunity, in education, and in basic human connection.
And finally, there's the social question. As we spend more and more of our lives communicating through screens, there's a real concern that we're losing something important, actual face-to-face interaction. And that makes you wonder, how is this changing our relationships? How is it changing us?
So, Part 5, Connecting the Future, because despite these very real, very complicated challenges, this evolution isn't slowing down. If anything, it's speeding up. So let's look ahead to the next frontier.
Okay, just take a second and really look at the numbers on this table, because they're kind of mind-blowing. The jump from 5G to what 6G could be is just massive. We're talking data speeds up to 10 terabits per second. Latency, which is basically lag, drops to almost zero. And we're talking about full AI integration. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a whole new ballgame.
So, what can you do with that kind of power? Well, we're talking about things like a surgeon operating on a patient from thousands of miles away in real time, truly driverless cars and smart cities, virtual realities that feel completely real, fully automated factories. This isn't science fiction anymore. This is what's being built for the networks of tomorrow.
And that brings us all the way back to our big question, but with a brand new futuristic twist. As artificial intelligence gets completely woven into the fabric of how we communicate, what is it even going to mean to be humanly connected? That's a huge question, and it's something we'll all have to figure out together as we step into this new future.